If you rent in Dubai, this might be for you. You might not have to pay the entire year's rent at one go anymore. We also spoke to a few developers this week to figure out how are they managing the increasing costs of construction. Are they absorbing this cost or are they cutting corners? There was also a project that got completely sold out on the launch day. We'll dig in and figure out how and why this project was a complete success and sold out on day one. All this and more. This is Property Pulse by Real Estate Market Times, where we bring you news about real estate every single week. My name is Jatindeep Chandani. Let's dive in. Monthly rent comes to Dubai. This is the big one. The Dubai Land Department has launched something called as Flexi Rent. In simple terms, it means that you don't have to pay your whole year's rent upfront anymore. You'll be able to pay monthly or quarterly or in installments. Now, let me be accurate here because this matters. This is a new program rolling out with a limited set of developers and companies at first. It doesn't mean that overnight the old system is going to stop. It's the beginning of a shift, not a switch that flips for everyone right now. But the direction is huge. And here's why I think it's much bigger than it sounds. For years, the upfront check was a single biggest barrier to moving homes in the city. Not everyone could afford it. Now take this barrier away, and people can finally move when they need to. Suddenly, properties become more affordable. And when more people can move freely, the whole market comes alive. There are more deals, there are more choices, there are more options for everyone. So if you're renting, this gives you the breathing room and choice. Ask your agent today whether a listing offers this monthly payments and get it written into the contract, not promised verbally only. If you're an investor or a landlord, don't fight this. Offering flexible payments usually means your unit fills faster and stays occupied. Now, this is a kind of change that quietly reshapes how an entire city lives. And that shift started this week. Now, let's talk about a project that got sold out in a day. And here's the real reason. Imtiaz developers launched a project called Raw District along Sheikh Zayed Road in downtown Jebel Ali, which is around 2 billion dirhams in size. And the developer says that it's sold out on launch day. Now, whenever I hear the word sold out on day one, I don't just clap. I ask better questions to understand why. Because if you understand why something sells, you understand the market. So let's break this down. Firstly, the price made complete sense. Furnished studios started under 700,000 dirhams. That's a real entry point for a lot of buyers. It's not a fantasy number. Second, it's furnished. Furnished means rental ready from day one. An investor can hand over the keys and start earning without spending months and money fitting it out. Third, it's along Sheikh Zayed Road. And on handover, it's set to have a dedicated pedestrian bridge straight into the metro station. Now, think about what this means for you as an owner. A tenant who can walk to the metro is a tenant who will always be easy to find. This protects your rental demand for years. And fourth, this is the part I find most interesting. They didn't just sell a building or a tower, they sold a lifestyle. Co working, wellness, dining, community, all of this built in. So people just didn't buy the square feet in this project, they bought a way of living. So put this together, sensible price, furnished apartments, metro connected, and a clear identity. That's a product people understood in 30 seconds. And here's your takeaway. Whether you buy from this developer or not, this is a formula working in Dubai right now. Prices that make sense, rental logic, plus a reason to want to live there. A sellout is exciting, but understand the sellout. That's what actually makes you a smart buyer. And moving on to the next story. I asked this question to a lot of developers I meet. Construction costs are increasing. We all know that. Materials, contractors, timelines, finishing, all of this is getting more expensive. And I want you to understand why all of this matters to you, even if you never visit a single construction site. Because launching a project is easy. Anyone can throw a beautiful brochure and a sales center at you. The hard part, will a developer in a market deliver what he has committed when costs are climbing is the real test. When costs go up, Every developer faces the same choice. Do they hold their quality or do they quietly cut corners to protect their margin? And here's the thing, you cannot see the choice in a render. You can't see it on a launch day. You only see it years later, on the handover day and beyond. So let me tell you about something I did recently. So I went to visit a project a developer had already delivered. Not a launch, not a sales gallery, a finished, lived in building handed over about a couple of years ago. And honestly, I was amazed on how beautifully this developer was still maintaining it long after they've been paid, long after they technically had to. And here's why this should matter to you in plain money terms. When a developer keeps taking care of a building after handover, that building holds its value. And in a cared for building, the rents are better. It sells for more than an identical unit down the road that's been left to age badly. Same size, same area, same launch price years ago. But one is now worth noticeably more simply because someone kept looking after it. Now that difference that goes straight into your pocket as higher rent and a better resale price. Because when you buy off plan, you're not just buying a unit, you're buying a promise that someone will still take care of this building after your money has cleared. The render fades, the payment plan ends. What's left is whether the developer actually stands behind what they've built. So here's my advice, and it's the most important thing I'll say today. Before you fall in love with a new launch, go look at what the developer has already delivered. Walk into their older project, see how it's aged, see how it's maintained. Because in a market with rising costs, the brochure tells you what they are promising, but the delivered building actually tells you the truth. And finally, let me give you my own read on the market right now. This is less about one piece of news and more about what I'm feeling and seeing in the market recently. For a few weeks, the mood has been cautious. There was regional uncertainty and the news was heavy. And a lot of people quietly hit pause on their decisions. Honestly, that is understandable. But over the past week, the tensions have eased and you can feel the mood lifting. This is serious. The people who move serious money are starting again to talk about fresh cycle beginning. Here's the honest part, and this is also a bit that most people will skip. The feeling has turned faster than the numbers. What I mean is that sentiment is up, but the actual transaction data is still catching up from the slower weeks. This is an important gap because how people feel and what the numbers show is exactly where the opportunity is for you. Think about it. Right now, some sellers are still a little nervous from the slower weeks and from the slowdown. So they're still open to negotiating. But the mood is also slightly turning. So for a short while, you can buy into a recovering market at slightly nervous seller prices. But that doesn't last long because the smartest buyers don't wait for the headlines that says everything's great again. By the time that headline will arrive, the best pricing will usually be gone. Now, these people, they move in the quiet window when confidence is just about returning, but before the crowd rushes back in. So, in my view, that window is open right now. It won't be forever, but it's open right now. So, that's it for me. This is a wrap at Property Pulse by Real Estate Market Times this week. We'll see you again next week.